What are Asian countries doing in UEFA? I was constantly getting questions like this, so I decided to research these and compile a video for you. First, we will understand UEFA and its history. Then, I will explain how each country joined UEFA one by one. Of course, I won't be explaining all 50 countries, just the peculiar ones. UEFA, as you know, was established as a union of European country federations to manage football in Europe. In fact, its Turkish equivalent is the Union of European Football Associations. They manage football, futsal, and beach volleyball. And of course, the most important question is, why are Asian countries in UEFA? This question was coming to me and I researched it quite a bit. Foreigners are also asking this question. They even ask what Turkey is doing in UEFA. There are also those who say it's an Asian country. I will come to that discussion shortly. UEFA was established on June 15, 1954 in Basel. It was proposed by the Italian, French, and Belgian federations. Here I really turned into a basic joke with the Italian, French, and so on. Also, I have a fondness because our birthdays are the same as UEFA's. My fondness for UEFA has increased now. In the first meeting, 25 national federations joined together with 6 other federations that were not present, and 31 countries established UEFA as founding members in 1954. By the 1990s, with the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia, this number of countries reached up to 50. So what is the criterion for selecting a country for UEFA? Although UEFA member countries are generally considered to be United Nations member countries located in Europe, there are exceptions. Monaco and the observer member Vatican are not part of UEFA, while some countries, even countries that are not considered as such or are located within Asian borders, have federations. For example, while the United Kingdom is a single country, England and Scotland, among others, exist as separate nations within UEFA. The reason for this is that the federations are separate. UEFA always looks at who the governing football authority is in a region. That's what they consider, and they take the federation there as their counterpart. For example, if there were a United Kingdom federation, it would be the UEFA Federation. Additionally, there are countries like ours that are geographically situated between continents. We can also cite Russia as an example of this, and even entirely geographically. In Asia, there are also countries like Cyprus, which is located in Asia, but have somehow joined UEFA due to their cultural and political ties. Let's move past that. There is also an example like Israel, which is entirely in Asia and has no direct connection to Europe. I will now explain all of these one by one to you. Let's quickly gather your support and backing and start informing you. If you like, let's examine the countries one by one according to their geographical aspects. First of all, as you know, a large part of Russia is actually in Asia, but an equally large part covers Europe. Therefore, we can consider it as a transcontinental country, and since the population 80% is in Europe, and historically it has always been close to Europe, they directly accepted Russia as a European country in UEFA. They were already founding countries as the Soviet Union. However, after the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, they kept the federation completely the same. It is divided among other countries, and the Federation of the Soviet Union continues under the name of the Russian Football Union. Nothing changes. They continue their membership. Of course, their membership is still ongoing, officially, but they cannot benefit from any organization, as you know, because they invaded Ukraine. As you know, in Turkey, the western side of the Bosphorus is in Europe, while the rest, the entire Anatolian part, is on the Asian continent. Although only 3% of our land is in Europe, thanks to Istanbul's dense population, 14% of our population is located in Europe. In fact, when we look at the history of the Ottoman Empire, since we previously had land in the Balkans and such, we can be considered entirely in Europe. Only some foreigners think we are an Asian country because we are not in the European Union. Turkey joined FIFA as soon as it was established in 1923. However, our participation in UEFA took until 1962, meaning 8 years after its establishment. But even before joining UEFA, they were inviting us to European Cups. There's a peculiarity there. Georgia and Azerbaijan are 2 interesting countries. I learned something I didn't know until I made this video. These 2 countries are actually considered part of Europe. They are countries considered both in Europe and Asia. A part of Azerbaijan is included within the Caucasus Mountains, and since Georgia is entirely above the Caucasus Mountains, they are also considered part of Europe. But the main reasons these 2 countries joined UEFA are entirely historical and political. After the dissolution of the Soviet Socialist Republics, UEFA is helping the countries in that region. It assists them in establishing their own football federations. Following this, Georgia established its own federation in 1990, even before the USSR dissolved, and directly joined UEFA in 1992. Because they were already part of the Soviet Union before it was dissolved. They were part of UEFA. Azerbaijan officially established its federation in 1992 and joined UEFA in 1994 when it was fully ready. Here, what UEFA did, we can call it a small favor. After all, the teams from these countries were already part of UEFA. Kazakhstan, however, is a completely different story. They can technically be considered part of Europe because of a very small piece of land that interestingly crosses the Ural River. But with a population of less than 1 million, they are in Europe, the rest is entirely on the Asian side, and their land is already very large and located right in the middle of the Asian continent. Due to their cultural and historical ties with Russia, they are quite influenced by the Russians, which is why they are considered a European country. A little bit natural. But the interesting thing is they left the USSR. Initially, they went to the Asian Confederation. Even though they are quite a strong country there, they cannot participate in the World Cup. They cannot participate, and in 2002, they decide to join UEFA. In UEFA, they are accepted because of the previously recognized reserved right, but they are told it's under one condition. They are told that the 2002 World Cup will pass, and then they can join. Because of this, Kazakhstan also misses the 2004 European qualifiers. Of course, there were other countries that separated from the Soviet Union, Russia, but their territories. Since they were entirely in Asia, they were not included in UEFA. What I mean is, we have another country that does not comply with this rule, Armenia. Just like Azerbaijan and Georgia, they were included in UEFA due to separating from Soviet Russia under this rule. Geographically, none of its territory is in Europe. However, due to its cultural proximity to Europe and having previously been part of Russia, they accepted it. UEFA. Israel, on the other hand, is a completely different case. As you might guess, it has nothing to do with the Soviet Union or Russia. Israel became a country around 1948-49, and in 1954, they joined the Asian Confederation. They continued in the AFC from 1954 to 1974. As you know, Israel is located in an area completely surrounded by Arab Muslim communities, and their relations with them are not very good, and they will constantly be with these communities. At one point, they were expelled from the AFC because other Arab countries refused to play matches with them. Israel. As a result, until 1992, they continued their football life without being affiliated with any confederation, only being connected to FIFA. Since they were affiliated with FIFA, they could only participate in tournaments organized by FIFA. For that, in the qualifiers, they participated sometimes in the OFC, sometimes in the CONMEBOL, or in UEFA. However, when we reach the year 1992, UEFA finally grants them an intermediate status. Thus, both club teams can participate in European Cups and the national team can take part in European qualifiers and such. By 1994, they are fully granted UEFA membership. Here, I think they were caught up in the wave of participation by Asian countries that separated from the USSR. UEFA probably thought, we've already opened such a door. Let them come too. They had an attitude like, why not? But of course, there is also an economic aspect to this. Because Israel is a country with quite good commercial relations with major European countries, that's why I interpreted it as not wanting to leave them in the middle. There's also the Cyprus situation. As you know, no country other than ours recognizes the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. And Southern Cyprus participates in all tournaments as if the whole island belongs to them. The truth is, geographically, the island is on the Asian continent and actually has no connection to Europe. Therefore, they shouldn't be a UEFA country either. However, the Greeks, due to their historical ties with Greece, have joined both the European Union and UEFA, so this is yet another completely political choice. Besides the countries in Asia, there are also those in Europe. There are some federations that are not in the status of a country. So, if you have any curiosity about these, write in the comments and I'll share the videos. I really enjoyed researching this video. If this is also true for you, I recommend checking out the video here. With continents coming together like this, there are intercontinental hostings in the 2030 World Cup as well. I explained the candidates in the video here. A small note, don't forget to check the pinned comment in that video. See you soon.